Innovate Her KC Social Media Live. As you can see, we have an amazing guest here with us today, Dr. Brandy Archie, and we're going to be talking about AskSAMIE. But first, really quickly, my friends, you may have noticed, we're going to give a big congratulations to the KC Current, our amazing local women's soccer team. They're going to the national championship match. And somebody told me that that's how I'm supposed to say that, because that's the thing. But congratulations to the KC Current. You can actually pick up this beautiful t-shirt. It is a product of Cherry, owned by innovator Thela Cherry. Definitely give them a check. Get their KC Current swag, and let's show our support for these amazing women, the amazing women who populate the KC Current team.
Yes.
Woo! Now, we have Cynthia Fales, IHKC's program director. Right now, she's back there. Say hi.
Hi, y'all.
She's acting as the voice of Goddess. I've decided I'm not saying the voice of God anymore. It's the voice of Goddess. And so first things first, we're going to have a pretty casual, informal, fun conversation. Y'all know the drill. Eventually, we will be talking about some of the things that are happening with Innovate Her KC coming up, and we do have some pretty exciting stuff. And then we are going to deep dive into the beautiful, wild, wonderful brain of Dr. Brandy Archie. But first things first, Cynthia, you got some weird questions for us?
You always ask if I have weird questions.
Do you have quirky? Did we decide that quirky was better?
You have questions that you want to ask. That's it.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And friends, by the way, I totally forgot to say this, and Cynthia is going to remind me later, but if you have questions or comments or things that you would like to share, please comment in the comments. We will call you out. We'll say hi. We will answer your questions and make sure that you get to be a part of this conversation. Forgot that part. So, Cynthia, quirky, fun questions.
Quirky question. Are you ready?
As ready as we'll ever be.
We got this.
If you could only keep one tooth, which one would you keep and why?
What?
I just wanted to see what you were going to
I actually kind of have an answer for that, though.
say.
No, I think it's gonna be a front one because it's the one that I bite and tear with. Oh my god! But then you miss your molars.
I was going to say molars so you could chew it. So I can actually swallow
Wait.
the thing.
I think, can we like hang out a lot if we each only get to keep one tooth, and that way like I can tear and then we can pass it off to
You
you.
do baby bird style.
I just grossed myself out. Never mind. Well,
Get us another one. How about that?
yeah.
All right. No, I really didn't want you to answer that question. I just wanted you to laugh a little
I
bit.
mean, you put the question out into the world, and it has to be answered, Cynthia.
Somebody's going to answer it. Let's in the comments,
Okay.
those of you that are watching live and on the replay. If you're watching on the replay, type replay and drop your answer in there. Because I'm curious.
Now I'm
what
really
people are gonna
curious.
say.
Yeah.
But we are coming up on Halloween.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's spooky season.
Best holiday.
What is your best scary story? The truncated version.
Oh man.
This is for me, or you're going to answer this?
Oh, both of us.
Okay, you go
Oh,
first.
yeah. So I don't really have that many scary stories, and like most of my scary stuff is like real life, like weird, creepy person following you or what have you. But the closest I have to a ghost story. So I love Halloween and I love paranormal stuff. I watch all the shows and the movies and things like that. So my husband and I, we had the occasion to stay at the Stanley Hotel, which is located in Estes Park, Colorado. And we stayed in a haunted room. My parents, who I think they like my husband more than they like me, paid for us to be upgraded to one of the 4 most haunted rooms in the hotel. And of course, I like loved that. We got to the front desk and like we got a card that said we had been upgraded, and I just went, oh no. But we did stay in a haunted room. For those of you who don't know, the Stanley is actually where Stephen King got the inspiration and wrote The Shining over the course. He wrote it over the course of like an evening. But he also has a ghost story to tell about the Stanley. My husband, who is an author and a huge Stephen King fan, like he was geeking out. I was like, we'll do this because I love you more. And I now get to say I love him more for the rest of our lives because I went through this night. But so we're staying in this haunted room and I'm scared to go to sleep. I wouldn't let Aaron turn off the light. We were watching The Shining. It's on constantly on play in this hotel, which is a horrible idea. But I kept on listening. I didn't hear anything over the course of the night. Didn't get much sleep. The next morning, there have been a lot of reports in the room we were in of people being in the, banging like that.
Right.
Perfect timing. Thank you very much. But there were a lot of reports of ghostly activity happening in the closet. And so I ended up getting into the closet, and you're supposed to, apparently the ghost, he was an old sea captain. He loves ladies. And he would like stroke hair, or he would like, goose somebody. That did not actually happen for me, but I did feel a slight breeze in a closet with no windows, no vents, no nothing. That is my scary story. Sad. Yeah.
So Halloween is my least favorite holiday.
Really?
Yeah, I do not like it.
I'm so sorry.
So I have no scary stories, but I do have a surprising story, which is, I'm born and raised in Kansas City.
Yeah.
And so we all know about the haunted houses that are down in the West Bottom.
Sure.
Everybody goes when they're a kid and sneak in, and then they go when they're adults, and they go when they're college. And I have never been to either of those, the Beast or the Edge of Hell, or any haunted house ever.
Really?
Yeah,
Never ever?
I've never been to
And
a haunted house.
you've never been tempted, never
been
to?
tempted. No.
Like
I've
if I
skirted out
called
of
you up and I was
invitations.
like, hey, Brandy, are you down to hang out in the West Bottoms and go to a haunted house? You'd be like, no, thank you.
I'd be like, no, thank you.
Okay. You know what? A strong woman knows what works for her and what doesn't. You don't always have to bite the donut to know it's sweet, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I have way too active an imagination.
Fair.
So I don't even like to watch like Law and Order before I go to bed. So
it's too much.
It's too much.
Can I give you a story that might encourage you to go?
You can try.
Yeah, I want to hear this.
My husband would be happy if you could convince me.
It was humorous the entire time we were in there. We just were laughing the entire time. Me and 4 of my friends, we went in high school. And I think it was Catacombs. They had the spinning thing and then the guy with the chainsaw was like, right? And he's like at the end, like trying to scare us. And we've been laughing the whole way through. And my friend decides she's going to walk through before the guy comes out with the chainsaw on the other end. And he scares her so bad that she falls. And we don't see her fall, so we fall on her. And so we're like,
so you created like a pile up
and just falling back down. And we were laughing so hard that we couldn't get up. The guy had to set his chainsaw down.
He's like, look, let me come over here and help you
so
out.
chainsaw guy is like, let me help you out.
Hey, let me step out
What
of
did
character.
what did you do when he like extended a hand? Like, let me help you up, and you're just like, no, I'm good. Thanks though. Because that's how I would react for sure.
Chelsea Haynes says, I haven't been to a haunted house either, but I go once for the experience, but I don't like scary things. So
Okay.
we're in great company.
I'm in good company. Yes.
All right. Well, we're gonna have to figure that out, Kelsey. Kelsey is our communications manager around IHKC.
Like an IHKC excursion.
Oh my God. Yeah, let's do it. I'm in. Let's do it.
It feels like discrimination.
Are you gonna come?
No.
What if we go during the day?
Feels like a quid pro quo.
What if we promise to we'll all flank you? Like we'll create it'll be
that's
like
fine,
Dr.
because
Archie is in the middle and we'll have like a protective circle.
As long as you can deal with me closed, my eyes closed the whole time,
All right.
holding on to you like this.
All right.
It's a waste of your $35 or however much it costs to go there. Because I'm not gonna see anything. I'm not my eyes
We
closed.
just really, really want you to go. Like your presence.
You can say that you've been.
Okay. I'm in. Let's do it. It's gonna be our Dr. Archie, Kelsey Haynes healing circle.
Oh my God.
That's what we're gonna have.
Awesome. I love it.
All right. That was a good one, I think. I learned something about you I didn't know before.
That's fair. Okay.
You're not
I'm not
one
gonna judge
to
it
be
as good,
spooked.
but you did learn something you didn't know.
Okay. What else we got? Ms. Fails.
Oh, I'll save one for the end.
Okay.
Let's dive into the interview.
Okay.
And I'll surprise you with the last.
This is actually my favorite part. So I'm gonna kick it off how I kick it off around Startup Hustle, and I'm just gonna say, hey, Dr. Archie,
Yes.
tell us about your journey.
Oh, okay. So I already told you I was born and raised in Kansas City.
Yeah.
I became an occupational therapist
Okay.
in 2007. I traveled all over the country being a traveling occupational therapist. It's a great way to do it if you're any OTs out there. And then I worked at all the places, did all the things from kids all the way up to 105-year-olds. And I kept
5.
seeing this same problem of it's my job as an OT to help make sure people can be safe and independent at home.
Yeah.
So I can do everything I can in person with you, but I don't have any control over your home,
Right.
or your environment to make sure that it matches with what we're trying to work on.
Yeah.
And that's because our insurance does not cover it. And so there's no way for somebody to just write a script and say, oh, you need a ramp at home because I just gave you a wheelchair. Makes sense, right? Ramp, wheelchair. But they can't because your insurance doesn't cover it. So I was always just like finding things at thrift stores and like holding on to things or getting things from other people or figuring out who's the best handyman in town so I can refer my patients. So like when I say you're getting ready to go home and you have a wheelchair and you have stairs, I can at least give them something to say like, here's the next step. Please take these steps to go ahead. And every time I did that, it was always less than awesome.
Yeah.
So because it never really, as soon as I make a little sheet that said something about this Walgreens has this and this CVS has this, it'd be out of date.
Sold out. Yeah.
As soon as I give it to somebody shows up there and they're like, it wasn't there. I have no control over it. So because there was nothing, I started Accessible Living, and that's where here in Kansas City, we send an OT to the home, figure out what's needed, and then we sell them that adaptive equipment. So it's a one-stop shop.
Nice.
And so we've been doing that for the past 5 years. And then I met a lady named Sue who didn't live in our service area and really wanted to bring her husband home from the hospital after he had a bad stroke. And she was willing to do all the things, but she just didn't know what things to do. There people at the hospital were telling her what he needed because they're experts on what he can do.
Right.
But they didn't know if that was going to match what her home did, what was in her home. And she didn't know where to get it from. So we figured out a way to do like a Zoom conference and like did a virtual assessment for her because I can't let somebody struggle, right?
Right.
But it did make me think how many more people could we serve maybe if we didn't have to be physically present.
Yeah.
And so we are in development and it's almost ready. Literally, we are beta testing this baby tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yes, our app called AskSAMIE. And so basically it's our OT brains in a web app where you answer some questions about the problems the person is having, and then we give you those recommendations on the right equipment. And then you can order it and get it sent to you. So, I
love that.
I think it's going to be awesome.
I love that so much. Well, and what you're talking about scalability, because the fact is, like, as amazing as you are, there is only one Dr. Brandy Archie, and there's only so much of you to go around. And so finding a way to scale what you're able to do and make it not only that, but make it easier for your customers to access what you do. What a game changer. So you say that you're beta testing tomorrow. What kind of things are you looking for?
Oh, we want to make sure that the user experience is really seamless and easy to do, because pretty much everybody who's interfacing with us, they're not having their best day.
Sure.
And so whether it's the person who's having a problem, or if it's a loved one who's trying to be the caregiver for them, or even if it's like a social worker at a hospital who's trying to constantly discharge people with safe discharge plans, no matter who it is, they're all having trouble or want to get this done quickly. So what we're looking for is to make sure that it flows easily. You don't have to answer a ton of questions or unnecessary questions.
Yeah.
Or, one thing that really bothers me is when you get on the phone and they ask for some information, and then the person gets on the phone and they ask you for the same information again.
Exactly. Or like when they transfer you and they're like, I'm going to tell the person what you need, and you get to them and they're like, hey, what's your name? And I'm like, would have been really cool to not have to share that again.
Exactly. So we're trying to make sure there's no redundancies, and that everything links together well. And once we've got it out in the world, then we can start adding to that and adding more functionality and features. So
that is amazing. Well, and so once you kind of have your testing criteria, once you get that settled, I'm doing a very like mom thing. I'm like, let me just keep touching your knees. I'm going to stop doing that.
I'm used to it. I work with grandmothers all the time.
We're
always saying, sweetie, how you doing?
Dear. How are you? Would you like some tea? Like, that's what I feel like right now. So let me stop doing that. But all right. So let me ask you this. You're getting ready to test, and you're getting ready to roll out. What are some of the steps that you're taking to get into the hands of the consumers that need to interface with AskSAMIE? what's your next steps, your deployment? What does that look like?
Okay, that's a great question. So we're QAing it within our office tomorrow. We
Okay.
also are asked some very nice people to beta test it for us in small groups of 8. And then we'll take that feedback back that we gave them actual survey so we can compare apples to apples. Everybody's answering similar questions. And then we'll probably take another set of 8 to beta test it again, and then reach out to the people who actually signed up to know when it's ready. Even though they know that it will be still probably rough. And if you want to sign up on that list, it's still available. You can go to AskSAMIE.com, drop your email address in there. So those would be the people who we've talked to over the course of this year since I've had this idea I've been talking about. I think that's really key. As opposed to what my real heart would want to do is to like work in a corner until it's done and beautiful and then tell everybody. That's like what I've learned is not effective. So I've been talking about it for a year, and all those people who've been listening to me talk have been signing up. So I'm gonna get to them first, and hopefully they'll share it. And then we also have I don't want to call it a social media strategy, but a marketing strategy to really reach people when they're searching for these solutions. Because people are already Googling, trying to find a shower chair. How do I help my mother who's got Alzheimer's? And people are already looking for the answers to those questions. So we just need to show up in the places where they're already looking, which is mostly Google and sometimes Facebook. And so we got a marketing strategy ready to roll out.
Well, and you said something really interesting, but you mentioned like when people come looking for your services, they're not at their best, right? Like they more often than not, they've probably heard some really distressing news, or they have seen something, off in the horizon, like in the case of when people have like cognitive declines or things that like take longer, maybe not so instantaneous, but you had some warning, but now the day is finally here. We have to start kind of making plans and figuring out. So when you're dealing with folks, how are you able? I know that you are gifted at this. I've actually heard, not from you, but I've heard that you're gifted at this. But how are you able to make people comfortable talking about things that might be embarrassing or traumatizing, or like talk to us a little bit about that, because that's always fascinated me about you.
That starts from OT school training, actually.
Yeah.
And so one of the things we talk about is the therapeutic use of self. And I shouldn't say that's only to OTs. Lots of therapists of all kinds use these similar strategies. But it's understanding how you are impacting the situation, just being you, right? Yeah. And so if I can think about that first, and then use my words, the way I move my hands, if I'm sitting to talk to you as opposed to standing over you when you're in the hospital bed. Yeah. What can I do to make you feel more comfortable is the first thing. And that way you might feel open enough to have that conversation, because basically all OTs talk about stuff that nobody wants to talk about. Right. Going to the bathroom, cognitive decline, progressive diseases. We're always talking bad stuff. So once I have done as much as I can to help make you feel comfortable to open up, I also need to be comfortable talking about the subject. Right. So if you feel for me that I don't really want to ask you, have you had a bowel movement?
Everybody poops.
Exactly. I'm just saying the same thing. Like, I can't, if you feel that from me, then you're not going to want to give it all out to me. But if I just say it in a way that makes you feel comfortable knowing that I do this all the time, even if I maybe haven't and you're like a student and you just started, just feel like you've done it all the time, then people tend to open up because we want help with our problems. Right? Like, you just don't want to go to your doctor's office and be like, I have red stuff in my stool and I don't know what to do about it. Yeah. I would say that just like that. But not everybody feels comfortable to do that.
They're like, sometimes when I go to, and then you get like really quiet.
And you get really quiet and they can't hear you. Or maybe they're running real fast and so they're not stopping to ask you and you haven't found a way to interject it. So I think most people want to have answers to their problems. You just got to create an environment where people are comfortable talking about it.
Yeah. Well, and that's really interesting. And I'm actually I'm going to bring it. So I do not have I don't have anything that you probably deal with on a regular basis, but I have a chronic illness. And I think there are a lot of different things at play here, because often you have to, so first of all, sometimes it gets really exhausting having to re-explain your story. Sometimes you just don't want to deal with it because you're like, hey, someday this thing might kill me, and it's just there. It's just hanging out. It's waiting. It's like, the Grim Reaper scepter, and you just want to avoid it. You don't want to talk about it. And sometimes, yeah, there are embarrassing things that happen, like I have a medication that makes me poop, and hey, do we want, like, I'm okay sharing that, but there are a lot of people, and particularly I would imagine folks of a generation where like those things aren't talked about. It must be really difficult. And so I just want to give you some major kudos for meeting your people where they are. And making that a part of your strategy. And I love the fact that is what AskSAMIE is designed to do, to create more accessibility, more access, and to enable you to share your wisdom with people who really need it in a really, really accessible, easy way. It doesn't seem easy right now, because when you're developing an app, like, I'm sure it doesn't feel easy, but to them, I'm sure it feels easy, right? So are you excited about the launch? Nervous?
I'm more nervous than excited.
No! Oh no!
It feels like crunch time. Like, we got to make this happen, and also like it's kind of like a baby, and you don't want to have a dirty baby, right?
You don't want to have a dirty baby.
You don't want to have a dirty baby. You don't want to bring your baby out with snotty nose and a dirty diaper and like.
But you know that the dirty baby is still cute, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the dirty baby still it shines through all the dirtiness. But I just want it to be a clean, pretty baby, But I know that I don't know where I heard this from, so sorry if I'm stealing somebody's quote. But if you put your MVP out to the world and you are really proud of it, that means you waited too long to release it.
Yeah.
And so
I actually just talked about that with somebody. Like, the fact is, your minimum MVP, your minimum viable product. It's not going to be pretty. So one of the things, this is actually what the person I was talking to said to me, and I don't know who initially said this, but if you are putting if you're putting a product out there and it's perfect, then you waited too long, but you also deprived the people who are clamoring for your product and clamoring for what you're doing. You deprived them of that opportunity to get to know your product. And that was a really interesting, like, flip.
That's a different switch, yeah,
for me. Because I just feel like there are so many people out there who could benefit from AskSAMIE. So I'm glad that you love your dirty baby. And it's in understanding that, yes, it's a dirty baby, but the dirty baby is going to get cleaned up, and the dirty baby is going to become, I don't know, like the Gerber baby. Like, what's the pinnacle of babiness?
I don't know.
Gerber baby?
Your own grandbaby.
There you go. Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, because parents love their kids, but they're also looking at them as like things they got to create and push into the world. Whereas grandparents are just doting over their grandkids all the time.
That
so
is
much
like
that they don't even like their kids
unconditional
anymore.
love and support.
Exactly.
Okay, so that's what we're shooting for.
We're shooting for. Yes, that's what we're shooting for.
And it's okay that it's not there.
It's not there yet, but it will be.
Yeah. All right, I like that. Oh, do we have a question?
Comment from LinkedIn. Megan Baker saes, "I love this. Thank you for looking out for our community."
Hey, that's what we're here for.
I'm gonna do the mom thing again.
I have a question for you.
Yes.
AskSAMIE.com.
Yes. How do you spell it?
Yes.
Ask SAMIE. That stands for Solving Accessibility with Mobile Innovative Equipment.
AskSAMIE.com.
Solving accessibility with mobile innovative equipment.
Yeah. SAMIE with
Shut the front door. I love that. I was actually I wanted to ask, I was like, who is Sammy named after? But your answer is much cooler. So as you've been talking to your current, like the people that you serve currently, are they really excited?
So yes. And actually I had a tough conversation with somebody over the phone, and they were not in a great mood. And I was trying to find a way to solve the problem, which was it sounds like you have a lot of different issues. Maybe we should come and do an assessment and figure it out, and then we can get you the exact right product for your needs, as opposed to trying to go back and forth on the phone without a picture of what we're talking about. And sometimes the stuff that we're recommending, people have never heard of before. So when we're talking about it over the phone, you have like no context.
Yeah.
And he was angry about it, but he was just like, that is too much. I don't want to have to do all that and schedule all that. I just want to know what the answer is right now. And so while I wouldn't say that was a person that's like excited for it, it did tell me like, He needed AskSAMIE. He needed that where he could go at his own speed, figure it out, see it online, and then get to the right thing. So
I love that so much. And I mean, what a perfect use case right there. Like the fact is, chronic illness, things like it's really, really hard. And anything that can make that process easier, make it and really, so like the long-term goal, you and I have talked about this before, but like the goal is, how can we help people feel empowered, help them stay in their homes or wherever it is that they want to be? How can we help them be healthy, wealthy, and wise in their space and on their own terms for as long as possible, right? Like, is that?
Yeah, I think the goal is that you get the right help at the right time.
Yeah.
So many people have, even if it's not a chronic disease, but something that's going to affect you for life, let's say a stroke, right? The stroke doesn't get worse over time, but you do deal with it the rest of your life. Yeah. And so you go through rehab, you do all the things that they tell you to do, and then it's just like everyday life now. I got to figure it out. And then you come across some product or thing, and you're like, this would have been so much more helpful if I would have found out about this right after I had my stroke. I could have been using this or doing this thing. And so I want to not have that randomness occur. Right. It should be a process to get you to the right place at the right time. And so maybe you use AskSAMIE for right away after stroke. And maybe you come back when you had a stroke at 50 and now you're 75 and our bodies all change no matter if we had a stroke or not. Yeah. And things are a little bit harder or different. Now I can come back and say, okay, what do I need now? And show me what I need now, as opposed to random Google searches that could give you hundreds of thousands of things. How do you know if they're good? How do you know if it's right for you? We're distilling all that down. So that's the goal. Because, you might want to move in with your daughter and retire there. I'm fine with that. My goal is not necessarily to make sure that everybody stays independent as they define doing everything by yourself in your own space. It means doing what you want to do at the pace that you want to do it. Like, rather than these circumstances that were thrust upon you because of things. Yeah, exactly.
Well, and that's what Innovator is all about. Like, I had a conversation the other day. Cynthia keeps on telling me that I'm getting out of frame. I'm trying to avoid the knee pat. So I'm like, let's just put a little distance. But Cynthia is so great. She's such a great producer. I love you so much. But she's just very, very
She's like, I'm supposed to be in the background.
I mean, just so you know, this is a very informal thing. You can be like, hey, dumbass, scoot over. And I would be fine with that. At any rate, no, so just so you know, Dr. Brandy Archie did appear on the Startup Hustle podcast.
Yes.
You can hear her talk more in depth, not about AskSAMIE, because that wasn't a thing yet, I don't think.
We were just beginning. So I talked about it, but not in as much detail as we did today.
But we did talk a little bit more about accessible living, but you can hear more about Dr. Archie and her amazing work. If you go to startuphustle.xyz and just run a quick search, it'll pop right up. Definitely keep an eye out for that. Now, I have to ask you, and this is going to be more of a you question than an AskSAMIE question. But what is your favorite thing about what you do?
Oh, my favorite thing about what I do is very easy. It's that I can help make sure that somebody ends up in a better situation, feel better about themselves, be better after I work with them. So that's why I love to do it.
Yeah, that's amazing. That was a quicker answer than I thought it would be. Cynthia, do you have any questions?
For Dr. Archie, or just general team building?
Yeah, well, you know what? You are our producer, voice of goddess, director extraordinaire, so I'm gonna leave that up to you, my love.
Yes.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Not with the quirky yet.
Okay.
What is something that you see that's pretty consistent with the people that you work with, that we may be able to help alleviate it if we have discussion about it more openly?
I think in big terms a lot of times, because I'm always trying to get to the root cause of the problem, right? So it doesn't help to put a Band-Aid on a gangrenous wound. And while, yes, I can help you with some adaptive equipment to make the home accessible, you might just actually need eyes on the scene. So I'm going to also refer you to somebody who can send a caregiver in the home. Because I'm just not going to say that equipment is the only way to make somebody safe. So we're always looking for the root cause. And to me, the root cause of all of this is that our health insurance does not cover the things that you need in your home. And that our health insurance is about, it's not about preventing problems, it's about treating problems.
Yeah.
And so if we could rework that and have a different mindset about that, then it would be great for me, because I would work myself out of a job. And that's what I say all the time. Like, it's my job to work myself out of a job. Yeah. You don't want to have to.
I don't want to do the work I do. I want to go fuck off on an island somewhere and sell t-shirts.
Exactly. But this is needed. And so you do it. And so I see a need and we're doing it, but it shouldn't have to come this way. I don't think. I feel like we should have a process for it.
I love that.
Yeah.
Groundwater. We talked about that last episode. How do you cleanse the groundwater? Because when you cleanse the groundwater, then the rainwater, the Band-Aid solutions that we see so often, there's no need for the Band-Aid when you don't have a cut.
How about, isn't that a novel idea?
Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
No, I love that. Well, and I really love the piece about talking about preventative measures. Like, what are some things that folks watching at home could do today to help their elders or even themselves? What are some things that we can start thinking about earlier?
I'll talk about it from both aspects. So for you right now, do your best job to take care of your body. And so the majority of the disability that's caused in this world is because we do things to our bodies that our bodies don't like. And over 50 years, your body's like, you know what? I can't deal with this anymore.
You're not going to treat me good. I'm not going to treat you good.
You're not going to treat me good. I'm not going to treat you good. So like, heart disease and diabetes and obesity and breathing issues, like all of that is, not all of it is your fault. I'm not going to say that, because there's a lot of genetics that are involved in it. But some of it is about our decisions.
That's true. I take ownership.
Some of it is about our decisions, and it doesn't usually impact us when we're younger because our bodies are really resilient. And after a while, your body's just like, you know what? I can't deal with you right now. So this is what we're going to do. So if you can help now by taking small steps, I was just listening to this guy who wrote this book called Tiny Habits, and you just take do small things and reward yourself for small things, so that you feel good about this behavior change. That way you will keep doing the behavior change and it will keep getting better.
So what that looks like is like, okay, and when you go to the fridge, instead of reaching for the soda, you reach for the water. And then one of the things that my husband always laughs at me, like when I do reward myself, I'll like reward myself with like a piece of chocolate or something. And he's like, that's exactly the opposite of what you're supposed to be doing. And I'm just like, I know it doesn't make sense. So like reward yourself with productive, healthy things.
Reward yourself with something that gives you a good emotion.
Yeah.
That's what we said. The habit forming is because you get the oxytocin of having a good emotion and smiling.
Yeah.
His example was, if you want to floss your teeth every night, then start by flossing 2 teeth. He said, I don't care. Just start by doing something and then smile at yourself in the mirror. Because when you smile at yourself, it didn't cost you nothing. You didn't put anything bad in your body. You feel better when you smile, and you just like, oh yeah, I did a good thing.
Okay. So that book was called Tiny Habits.
Tiny Habits.
There's another book out there, and I cannot remember exactly what it's called, but it's like the High Five Habit or something like that, where it was written by a woman named, I think, Dr. Mel Robbins. But she talks about the fact that if you high five yourself in the morning, like you get that same release that you get from high fiving someone else, and it kind of sets you up for the day. So I'm going to
high five.
We just rewarded ourselves.
Can you high five and not smile?
No, you can't.
Exactly.
You can't do. I challenge you to try. Wait, hold on. Try again.
I'm getting mad. Sorry.
Are we playing if we're in a game, it might be serious.
That's true.
It might be.
Smile afterwards.
But you still smile afterwards.
Okay, hold on.
You still get hype. I mean, I'm thinking about playing basketball.
No, I can't even get the smile off my face now, so we're not going to try this because I just like talking to you a lot.
Yeah, we already lost.
All right, we're done. This is my reward. I get to talk to Dr. Brandy Archie.
So then let me tell you the other part. So here's what I want you to do for the people who are older than you in your life. Call them or text them or communicate with them out of the blue without them having to call you. Because having spent 15 years working with older adults, everybody really appreciates connection, and they also don't want to feel like a burden. So when you know that your grandma really shouldn't be carrying all her groceries in the house, she's not going to call you, even though you say, oh, just call me, I'll go to the grocery store with you. She's not going to do it because she's going to say, oh, you've got your own life and they got their own things to do. I don't have enough time to worry her about that. You should just say, hey, grandma, I'm going to the grocery store on Wednesday. Do you want to go with me? And then she'll say yes. And then the problem will be solved, right? Because you're already doing it.
Bing, bang, boom.
She doesn't feel like it's a burden. And then you get to make sure she doesn't fall when she brings her groceries in. So that's just like one example, but I'm just saying,
So reach out.
Reach out and be proactive.
Yeah.
As opposed to, it's just like there's a death and you tell somebody, if you need anything, let me know. Nobody in their sense of grief is cataloging, okay, here are the people that are my resources. This is the person that I know I can call for this. We're just not doing that.
I actually learned a trick, and we're on the topic right now, so I'm just going to share this. But one of the things that I do, like when a friend has somebody pass away or they experience a loss or they're sick or something like that, is get very specific.
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, let me know how I can help. But that's a very open-ended question.
Yeah.
And when people don't want to be a burden, they're hesitant to say, can you do X for me? So what I do is I go to that person and I have like a very clearly defined list of things that I could do. I think I've done this to you before, Cynthia, where I'm like, I can babysit if the kids are old enough to hold up their own head. I have a weird thing about infant necks. I like infants. They scare me because I'm like, I'm gonna break you.
Yeah.
But so I can babysit. I can run an errand or two. I can drop off a casserole and a bagged salad. Like, you get very specific with your offers of help.
So then I can easily say, you know what? I need food.
That's right. Can you please bring me a casserole and a bagged salad? I'm like, I'll be there in 2 hours.
Yes.
Catch you in a bit.
Yes. That's exactly the same thing I'm saying to do for the people in your life that you might be concerned or worry about. Do the same thing. Don't offer everything up because that might be stressful to you.
That's overwhelming.
Yeah. Just say, what are the things that you know you can do easily that might be challenging for them?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love that.
You all are creative ripples right now. Marisol Rivas.
Hey.
She said, listening to you both, and I just grabbed a La Croix in my fridge rather than a Coke.
Yay! Tiny habits.
Tiny habits.
Wait, but we need to ask Marisol how she rewarded herself.
Oh yeah, for picking your water. Yes.
That's right.
Smile in the mirror, give yourself a hug.
Do you say
high-five yourself?
Take 5 minutes.
I like the high-fiving yourself. That was fun for me. Yeah, you can do it this way, or you could do it with a mirror as well. But I love that.
Do a little celebratory dance, like a happy dance.
Yes, and if you're looking for amazing celebratory dances, definitely check out CL Fails on Instagram for all of the fun dancey goodness.
There you go. That might be the reward just in and of itself.
I feel like that's gonna give you that dopamine serotonin hit.
Yes,
like check it out.
Myself said I will totally high five myself.
Yes!
There we go. I love it.
All right, this is me high-fiving Marisol right there. That's what we were doing. All right, do you have any other questions, comments from the also loved Peanut Gallery? Because we love all of you. All right. Do we have any more quirky questions?
Absolutely. One quirky question to close it out. Is that what we're
Are we
I'm
good?
ready for that.
Do you have anything else that you would like to share with our audience?
I don't know. You drained me of all my knowledge and information. I think I
don't even think we scratched the surface of the amazingness of Dr. Brandy Archie, but I appreciate what you're saying.
Before we get to the quirky question, to close it out, if people want to get in contact with you, how can they find you?
Yeah. The very first one is go to AskSAMIE.com and put your email address in. If you have questions for me, actually on AskSAMIE.com, you can connect with me there and book some time. If you want to talk about the app, if you want to whatever you think you have some ideas for, I take all feedback. I don't use all feedback.
She's really cool to talk to.
So chat with me.
I heavy vouch, highly recommend.
Yep.
I love that. I take all feedback. I don't use all feedback.
Yeah. But I will definitely listen to it.
Soak it up like a sponge and then squeeze out the stuff that doesn't work.
Exactly. There's nothing wrong with that. It's perfect.
I love it.
So yeah, find me there. You can also find me on LinkedIn. I'm on LinkedIn a lot, so you can find me there under Dr.
Yes,
Brandy
you
Archie.
are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. I've noticed that actually. All right.
Quirky
Excellent
question to close us out. It's not too quirky.
If you ask us about teeth, I'm going to storm out.
It's not that quirky. If you had your choice of any music in the world to be a theme song when you entered every room that you entered into?
Every room?
Every single room. What
Like
would it be?
funeral room and carnival
No, we
room?
can turn it down for the funeral.
Okay.
That's clutch. That's
We can
clutch.
Put it on mute for
Okay.
entering into.
All right.
wherever
And this is
you
not
are.
a song. This is a genre of music.
No, one song.
Oh, one
One
song.
song.
You're gonna make me name a
Oh,
song.
that's
Yeah,
hard.
One song.
Ah,
Working music follows you around.
ah.
Like just imagine a guy walking around with the big 80s boots.
I gotta go.
on his shoulders.
So for me, I'm gonna go because you need. Do you want some time to think?
I
Or do you
love
wanna
time to
go?
think. Yes, no, you go. You have an
She-
answer, so you should go.
She's a very analytical person. I've noticed this. So I'm gonna give you a moment.
That is like
and I'm
clearly
just-
right on my
I'm
sleeve.
because me, I'm more like bleh. Ask me a question and I just like vomit it all over the place. So I'm gonna go with Lizzo,
Mhm.
who is the most amazing unicorn creature that I have ever experienced in my life. Went to her concert, courtesy of Full Scale and Startup Hustle. So thank you for that. That's not a finger gun. That's just pointing.
That's 2 finger guns in the same moment, and you're counting the one from earlier that
Son
hit
of
the
a bitch.
3. Keep going.
Yeah.
So what I had meant to say was this. I swear I'm just gonna like make somebody like tie up my hands. I don't know what to do with them,
You
and
just
so I
need to
end
pick
up
new
doing
things
weird
to do with
things.
them. I use my hands all the time. You just gotta do new things. I don't never do this
I,
though.
I think I'm gonna start doing like expansive gestures, like welcome.
Open-handed gestures,
Ah.
up and open-handed.
Welcome,
gestures.
friends. So I'm gonna go with Lizzo, and I'm gonna go like this. And I'm gonna say, "Like a Girl," I think is my favorite Lizzo song, and it speaks very much to me from like the empowerment standpoint, and like what I do for a job and how I live my life. So I think I'm gonna go "Like a Girl."
Okay.
Woke up feeling like I just might run for president, even if you. Wait, something up the messaging, switching up the messaging. I'm about to add a little estrogen. All right, I'm done. That was it. That was all you
And she
get.
added a hair flip. Did y'all notice that?
I saw
I
it.
did. So
Okay.
so that is definitely
All
a
right.
song because it turned it all the way live.
That's right. I know.
Okay, I'm picking, and I'm gonna give you a good reason for this.
Okay.
I'm picking "More Money, More Problems" by Notorious B.I.G.
Okay.
because I still think that's true. More money, more problems. Although I will take more money, so I'll deal with those problems later. But I think it just one always gets me hype. 2, it's a compilation, right? There's multiple people on it, so I like to have all my
Okay.
people around me, and that hypes me
Okay.
up. And 3, I know all the words, and I rapped it at my wedding. So
Did you
it's-
really?
Yeah, I did.
That makes me so happy.
At the reception.
I loved
At the
you.
reception.
Now I love. It's like it just went through the roof. That was crazy. Oh, I love that.
So yeah, I don't
Okay.
know. That's
All right,
my
more
theme
money,
song.
more problems.
The words don't have anything to do with my life, but it's just a really good song.
Wait. Hold on. What about you? This is legit pointing because my thumb's not up.
You're pointing at the viewers.
Well, I'm pointing now. Now I'm
Yes,
pointing
put
at
it in the comments what your favorite
Put it in the
song is.
comments.
Put it in
But
comments.
now I'm asking you. Sit here. I'm moving my hands. You,
Yes,
Cynthia
Cynthia.
Fails.
Oh, look, we're out of time.
Ha!
Wow.
Ah, that ain't right. That's not even right.
I'll put it in the comments.
And she had all the time to think about the
Okay.
answer too, because
See,
she
but
came with a
see-
question.
But Cynthia Fails is also a very analytical person. She's
Yes.
very thoughtful.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
so I love you so much, but you're not best at like off the cuff.
Definitely not.
Like she wants
I
to
know.
turn it around in her mind,
I should-
So
that's
I
the
see that. I
introvert
honor
person
that
as
in
well.
you, but you better answer in the comments.
I'm also an editor, so I'm like.
You're editing in
Yeah.
your mind? Yes.
Yeah.
You're like,
I'll put it in the comments.
that's not
Yeah.
G-rated. Not going to put that one up.
Yeah.
Off the cuff, I would probably say "What You Know" by T.I.
Okay.
Because see what I'm saying? Look,
It just gets you like,
See how it works? That's how it
I
works.
yes, I
And
can
that's
stroll
part
right
of
on out of here on
Yeah,
that.
that's part of it. It's the beat, it's the rhythm, it's the music.
Okay. Well, if you think better of it,
I definitely will.
definitely put it in the comments. But yeah, folks, I'm speaking to you folks at home. We would love to hear what your theme song, your walk-up song would be, but know that it's going to be every room that you walk into for the rest of your life.
You know, if it's somber, we can mute it
Yeah. Okay.
for the occasion.
Okay.
Mighty
I really love the
Mighty
fact that
Soul
you're
Chocolate.
like, yeah. Oh, wait, what do we got?
Pretty Girl Magic by Moonlight Scorpio.
Oh, see, I don't
Okay.
know that song. I'm going to have to listen for it.
Don't
But
forget
I
that.
like the name of it.
Mhm. Don't forget that.
Mhm.
Well, we will definitely check that out. Thank you.
Awesome.
All right, friends. I do so enjoy this time together. Cynthia, I love seeing you every couple of weeks to do one of these. We're gonna have you back because this was fun.
I had a great time.
But wait, what's the thing that we're supposed to say at the end? No, you say it. You
Like,
can
comment,
say it.
subscribe.
Like, subscribe, comment. No. So people often ask how you can help innovate her KC, and I love that. But one of the very, very easy, low impact ways that you can do that is watch our shit like this. Watch it, like, subscribe, share, comment. All of those beautiful things that helps us increase our footprint, which helps us make a deeper impact for women and individuals of marginalized gender experience, which is what we do. Thank you for watching. Nope.